You can pray all you want. You can call God up and pray and ask for what you want. And you're going to feel like sometimes you're not getting it, or you do get it, whatever the case is. But a lot of times you'll feel like, well, I'm not getting it. He's not answering my prayers. But the key is you have to put in the work too. You can't, as an 18-year-old, when you want to go to school, you can't pray and say, oh, I want to become a doctor. I just pray that I'm a doctor. Well, that's not going to happen. You have to put in the work too. And along with that, keep that faith. Like, I know you're putting me in the right path. So you need to pray for the right things. You need to say, look, I need guidance on where I need to be or how I need to get there. And that will come to you. You'll get that advice.
Yeah. Hey guys, it's Nancy, and welcome to the She Laughs podcast. Sit down with me while I chat and get personal with some insanely cool women as they share their smarts and their hearts. God gave us each unique gifts, and we got to use them. Inside each one of us is a cool girl. So buckle up. Let's get vulnerable. Let's get real, and let's laugh. Hey guys, welcome back to the She Laughs podcast. I'm so glad you're here today because one of my most favorite people in the world is joining us, and he's going to be one of your favorites too. And actually, he is our first Guys Corner gentleman to grace the halls of the She Laughs podcast. So I'm so happy he's here to share his wisdom. So let me introduce you to one of my favorites. We are joined by the fabulous Will Bailey, skincare guru, licensed esthetician, and the brilliant mind behind his own line of glow-worthy products. Will brings both expertise and heart to everything he does. He's not only helping women love their skin, but he's also walking out his own faith and calling in a bold, cool guy, beautiful way. So join me in welcoming Will Bailey. Hi, Will. I'm so
Hello
glad.
there. Thanks for having me today.
I know. It's so funny to be on camera today and not laying backwards looking up at you as you're working on.
I usually see you upside down.
I know, and not my hair all pulled back in a terry cloth headband.
And it's funny because I see a lot of people like that. I recognize them from with no makeup and looking upside down at them. And I see people out in the stores and I don't recognize them.
That is funny. I know. That's why it feels weird talking to you. You're one of my favorites because I think your story is so great and it really aligns with what we do here at the She Laughs podcast. Is encourage people to use their gifts and not be afraid and to step out and be a gift to others by using their gifts. And I feel so strongly about you doing so because what you do blesses me and so many others. So I kind of would like you to share with everybody, what influenced you to start your journey into skincare and specifically the product lines that you designed.
Absolutely. It's a long time ago, but I'll make it really fast. So I had really nice skin pretty much through high school. And then when I started college, I started really breaking out. And that was in the early 80s. So it's been a long time. I'm 62. So it's been early 80s. And anyway, I was breaking out really bad. I was a poor college student. I lived in Austin. I was going to St. Edward's and I just couldn't get help. I couldn't afford to go to the dermatologist. And back then there were not a lot of estheticians or skincare people that can really help you. So I kind of suffered through it myself. And there was no internet either. So it wasn't easy. So I really figured out ways to help myself. And I'm just going to tell you quickly what it is dry ice. You used to put dry ice in a gauze bag and literally rub it on your face and it would kill all the acne spores and reduce the swelling of the acne. It was very painful, but it worked.
It was dry ice?
Dry ice. Can you believe it?
Yeah.
And it was like getting a sunburn. It was like literally sunburning yourself as you were putting that on slowly.
Wow.
But it did work. Anyway, back then, I thought there's got to be a better way. So I don't know if you remember, there was a store, Scarborough's in Austin in the day, Ross Brothers in San Antonio. I worked there for a while and I got into cosmetics there. They just put me in cosmetics. It's a funny story why. I was told to give women hand massages when they walk through. So this is my first foray into cosmetics. And I was to use products on their hands and then lure them in to shop the products. Exactly. And rubbing their hands and literally leading them by the hands into the cosmetic area. But I learned a lot from that time that I did that. I really started learning about how skin works and how the products work. Because before that, I didn't really know. And I just really took an interest in it and a liking to it. Well, I ended up getting a degree in almost at archaeology, a degree in architect. And that's what I did for a while. And I also worked, various jobs in insurance, but I never really felt like I was fulfilled with those jobs.
Or something missing.
Yeah, yeah. I never really had the enjoyment of it. And I didn't know that I didn't have it until I found out what I like to do. But so I kind of bounced around it.
I'm going to interrupt you right there because so many people are in a job and or a career, or maybe even if they're in school in a major and they're going through the motions, but they're
Mhm.
not really like their fire's not lit, right?
If
And
if you're not feeling the enjoyment, it's not right for you. You should feel enjoyment out of it. It's like if you love to cook or you love to whatever, and you feel that enjoyment, that's how your job should feel, I think. I never felt that. And so fast forward a really long time, I was about 49 years old, which is now 13 years ago. And I just decided to change my life. A lot happened in this one year. My partner passed away. My father passed away. I was getting ready to turn 50 years old. And I lived in Austin by myself. All of my family lived in the San Antonio area. So I just literally sold everything and moved back to San Antonio.
wow, at 49. Okay, that's a
40
bold move because at 49 and even at 40 or 30, people are like, "Oh, it's too late. I cannot reinvent myself." But you did.
I always felt that too. I just took the leap of faith and I literally like prayed one day and I said, I have got to find something better in life. I wasn't enjoying anything at that point. Like I wasn't enjoying going out. I kind of pulled back from my friends and I didn't realize it was really career related, if that makes sense. I honestly didn't. I didn't know what was missing, but there was something missing. So I moved back to San Antonio. I'm lucky enough to have a lot of sisters that I love. And one of my sisters thought nothing about it. I called her one night and said, look, I want to move home. And she said, okay, we'll be there in the morning. And she and her husband came with a truck. We packed up my
Well,
clothes, whatever else I wanted, and drove me back to San Antonio.
I love that.
That was a huge turning point in my life. I was lucky enough that I did have a sister, that was there for me. No
Yeah.
questions asked. She didn't ask why I quit my job, nothing. She just said, I'll be right there. And so that helps. You got to have a support system no matter what you're doing. It only takes one person to be your support system. It doesn't
Yeah.
have to be a lot of people, but most people have someone that believe in them. We don't always see that person, but they're there. You just got to figure out.
We may not even know that they're that person
Yeah.
until like
And it
we
might,
called her and she showed up.
absolutely. If not the person that you expect sometimes. It's not always going to be a relative. There's always somebody though. But anyway, you got to figure that out. And then I did. And when I got here, I thought, okay, I'm going to really go into skincare. I loved it because that's what I always thought. I really liked it. I left out a part. I always kind of worked part time at Foley's or different companies in the cosmetic areas. So, I kind of moved through the ranks in that, but just part time jobs. But I always liked skincare. I always stuck with it. And then, so when I moved here, I thought I want to make products. I really want to make products that help people with acne. That's kind of where I started. I thought, there's nobody out there that helps people. And I believe that today too.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of people that just really want to help you without trying to make a lot of money off of you, if that makes sense. And, but you have to make a living, there's no doubt about that. So I thought if I can make products and sell them, I'll do really well because I'm really terrible at sales, but I'm a nice person. And that's what got me through.
And then when you bring
It's
everything,
stupid, but
we'll charge somebody, please, because you're so. Yeah.
I'm a terrible salesperson, but I love products and I love what I do. And that's all you need. You just need the drive. If you have the drive and you put the work in, everything else will fall into place. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, you just have to figure out what you want to do. At least for me, I figured out what I wanted to do. I figured out how to do it. Everything else fell into place. I started making money. I started really developing clients and it just sort of took off from there. It kind of took off on its own. But I still work a lot. I'm not saying it's not a lot of work. It's a lot of work.
No, you totally do. Okay. Well, as you know, y'all don't know this, but when I go in for a treatment with Will, I'm so fascinated by his depth of knowledge, not just of products, but of each ingredient of the skin and what it does. And because he's so passionate about it, he knows every little ingredient and what it can do. And he stays on top of the skincare trend. So knowing that, I shouldn't even say trend, discoveries, because for a while it'll be this, and then science will discover something else and include it. And it's the buzzword. It was hyaluronic acid and, for a long time. And now I'm hearing peptides. So, what can you tell us about your top 3 most loved or best-selling products that you really believe in?
Yes. You said 2 of them. Hyaluronic acid is really important, but it's not the end all, but I'll tell you why it's really important because most things that are going to work on our skin are things that are natural. And I'm not saying natural products, but I mean natural to our skin. So we produce hyaluronic acid internally in our skin. Hyaluronic acid is what takes moisture and water to all of our vital organs, including our skin, which is also an organ. And without that, we start to dry up. Your organs don't function well. So you need that hyaluronic acid production. Well, like everything good in life, we lose that as we get older. So you pump it from the outside. Typically, you're going to find products that have hyaluronic acid in them, and they're going to have a picture of a cucumber or something because about 80% of hyaluronic acid in skincare comes from cucumber peels. So
I
that's
did
why you always see cucumbers everywhere. Isn't that crazy?
Yes, I didn't know that.
Now you'll start seeing cucumbers on everything.
Can they use it? Like,
Yes.
if
So it
they're
sounds like an old wives' tale when women used to put cucumbers on their eyes.
yeah,
They didn't know what they were doing or how it worked, but they knew that it worked. But it works by 2 ways. It cools down the skin, but it does have a little bit of hyaluronic acid in there that's sort of seeping in around their eyes.
interesting. Okay, so hyaluronic
Yes, peptides are number 2. So peptides, they do a lot of things. Yeah, there's something called hexacetylpeptide 6, which is what I talked to you about before, and that's what products you use. What that does is it actually works as a natural sunscreen as well. It trains your skin to fractionate the sun rays. So the USB rays that hit your skin, it fractionates them before they can go deep into your skin, which is what a sunscreen does. And it actually is helping your body to do that. So if you notice, I don't push sunscreen a lot. I push a lot of peptide products that help your body to do that. And then you just supplement with sunscreen at the end. So it really helps that. It also hydrates the skin, helps to smooth out the skin. It does, the peptides do an enormous amount of work. So if you can't afford anything, and people always say, well, what's one product that you really should be using? It's peptides. If you can't afford anything else, get a peptide serum in your routine.
Okay, and that's what's in mind that I got from you.
Yes. And
Okay.
then the third thing would be retinols. You hear this a lot. Everybody preaches retinols. It's vitamin A. You'll hear vitamin A a lot, but that's the same thing. But retinols are kind of the end all for everything. Again, if you can't afford a whole lot, get a retinol in there too. So retinol helps. Again, the easiest way to put it is retinol helps with skin rejuvenation. It helps with cell turnover. And cell turnover is what keeps you warm. So when I'm holding my hands up, you can't see me on a podcast, but cell turnover is what happens when the cells start renewing themselves and it pushes the older cells up to the surface. Well, those older cells are what you see on the surface. So if that surface is dark because you have sun damage, but you're helping those cell turnover down below the skin, those cells are getting lighter and lighter over time. And as they reach the surface, your skin is going to get lighter and lighter. So those dark spots will eventually go away. That's what it does. So those are 3 things that I would really stick
Really
with.
cool. Okay, well, along that same vein, we get pummeled through either dermatologist office or med spas or Instagram or TikTok with different trends and do this, do it yourself. Is there something out there that you think is so silly, not going to work, but we're all doing it? Because I know you do believe in, for instance, the mask with the red light. I know you believe in that because I got one from you. Are there ones out there we should avoid or gimmicky looking, seemingly gimmicky products that are?
Those are called LED masks. That's generally the name you're going to hear them. Or they'll call them light masks, but it's all the same thing. But you want one that's FDA approved. And it's very important because if it's not FDA approved, the wavelength on the light is not enough to penetrate the skin. So you're just wasting your money on it. You can sit under it and it's not doing any good. So you want one that's FDA approved.
Okay.
Yeah. And you can get them starting for around $200. They go up from that. You can't go much less than that. Those little wands that you hold on your face and stuff, they really aren't deep enough to penetrate the skin. They're not, the wavelength is not strong enough or deep enough to penetrate. And while we're on that subject, along with that, you always want to do that on naked skin. So you don't want any products on your skin because most products are designed to repel light, i.e. sunlight. So if you put that product on and then you're trying to absorb that light in, it's not going to penetrate. So you want very clean, dry skin.
Okay, that is important. So no moisturizer.
No moisturizer, no serums, nothing.
Okay, well, one thing you just said was, you believe in, certain products and not others, but I'd like for you to tell our listeners, I kind of know about this already, but I think it speaks to your integrity and your character and how you treat your clients is, the reason why you wanted to be solo and not work in one of these type of chains or, where there is a med spa or a dermatologist office or a department store. Could you kind of talk about that, why you wanted to be your own you to help women?
Absolutely. And I'll quickly tell you to preface what I'm going to say is I've never worked for anybody. I knew straight off the bat I did not want to. And the reason why is because I think you fall into this cookie cutter pattern. Everybody gets pretty much treated the same when you go to a lot of places. If you go look at a website for one of those types of places you're talking about, they're probably going to have 4 or 5 facials you choose from.
Yes.
Mocha peel or the lemon drop peel or whatever it's called from those. And I decided not to do that at the very beginning because everybody's different. Skin's different. You're different every time you come in. You might have had sun a week or two in advance, or the next time you went skiing and your skin's really dry from skiing or
Right.
burn. So it's very different. So I just wanted everybody to be treated individually. And you can attest to this. I tailor make every single facial for every single person every time you come in.
Yeah.
So you don't have that luxury when you have a company. And I understand why, because you have to rein it in. Otherwise everybody be doing everything and you can't possibly have all those products on there.
Sure. Right.
So you have to kind of make allowances for that. But I just didn't want to be part of that. I wanted to treat everybody individually and unique. And that's the way I've always done it.
Okay. Well, that being said, there are probably still some things like the hyaluronic acid, the peptides, the retinols that are good for pretty much, it's a broad brush to treat women. Is there anything are those the top 3 that women should be using after 40? Is there something they should do on top of that? Now, I know everybody's kind of individualized. And each time I see you, I could come in and we're planning one thing and you'll look at me like, okay, no, we're not going to do that. We're going to do this because you've got a lot of oil production. You've been out in the, sweaty, whatever. So we reroute real quick. We pivot. But in general, for women over 40, is there something we should all be doing other than sunscreen? Because I know sunscreen's a big deal.
It is a big deal, biggest deal. Yes. I'll back up a little bit. You should start it in your mid 30s. And I'll tell you why, because by the time you reach your late 30s, most people are starting to develop crow's feet. That's when you get crow's feet. So you really want to start targeting that before you get there. Because otherwise it's really hard to go backwards. 36, 37 is when you really want to start. But, it's the same age group basically. But yes, if you got to get on a good routine and stay on it. And if you can really, it's the routine. I don't know how to explain it other than the routine is what you need to get at. So you need to learn to wash your face every day and take your makeup off. You need to learn to use whatever products that you need for treating your skin. And then you need to learn to lock it all in by moisturizer and sunscreen. Is that kind of answering your question?
Yeah, it's
It's
just
the routine more than the product.
your routine, but it is good to take off your makeup every night, right? Because I know
Absolutely.
women that are like, oh, I just sleep in mine. And I'm thinking that cannot be good for you.
It's amazing how many people do. They probably don't see any issues right now, but they will see it when they get older. Most things, you can go out and lay in the sun right now and get a sunburn and you're not going to see that damage now, but you're going to see it when you're in your 60s. That's the same as wearing makeup in your sleep. You're ruining your skin. It's packing all that into your skin along with bacteria and dirt and everything else that has hit your skin during the day. It's packing it into your skin and you're sleeping on that. And then when you wake up and clean it the next day, you're just cleaning the surface. You're not cleaning deep down in your skin. So it's there. And you see a lot of women, if you look closely that do that, they're going to have all sorts of bumps all over the perimeter of their face.
Later in life, maybe not immediately.
Not immediately, but you're going to see it later. Yeah.
Okay. When women come to you, I'm just curious, is there one thing that stands out to you that in general we all say to you when we lay down on do we all want the same thing or we all look for,
Yes.
there's something we all say pretty much.
First thing I hear is the neck. What can you do for my neck? That's almost, that's probably 90% of the people. And the second thing is these marionette lines that are right here.
Because those are the first, I've always is the first sign to show.
Yes.
It's the most overlooked.
Right. From the chin down. That's exactly right. The neck, and this will hopefully make it'll stick out in their mind and they'll do it. Your neck is the same sensitivity as your eyelids. So if you close your eyelids and you're out in the sun, you can still see the bright red light through it, or you really can see the bright through it. Your neck is the same thinness and sensitivity as your eyelids. So now
Oh
think
gosh,
about
that
that.
makes me want to put something on it.
I know. But when you know that, it really changes your thoughts on that, because that's why you see that aging, because it's a very sensitive and thin skin area, so it ages quickly. Photo damage is sun damage, so that's called photo damage, and it kind of starts in that area. So sunscreen is the best thing you can do, is starting when you're young. Just continually put sunscreen on that neck area, and it'll really slow. Sunscreen also reverses sun damage. It's been scientifically proven to reverse the sun damage. So
What reverse is it?
sunscreen, SPF, yeah. So it not only prevents it in the future, it also can help reverse the signs of aging. So it's not going to be like, the best product in the world, but it does help. So if you can
I
just
did not know that.
yeah,
It's not like Benjamin Button's, wow, overnight, right?
no,
Like hands, and then you wake up and hands
yeah,
too, right? Or hands like the neck and the eyelids, or no?
yes, it is. Because you'll start to see sun damage there too. And we've talked about this, but especially the left side of your body, your face, your arm, your left hand, everything ages more because you're driving.
Yeah,
And
and that
UVB rays and UVA, which are the rays that age you, both penetrate the glass. And people don't realize that. They think they're protected behind glass, and you're not. So I can guarantee you, if you look at your skin in a mirror, you're going to be more aged on one side. Your eye will be droopier. You'll have a longer jowl, everything on one side, and your hand's going to show the age too.
and it's typically the side, at
No,
least in the
the driver.
States where we drive on the left-hand side,
Right.
it's on
Right.
the left side of your body.
So I'm sorry, we got sidetracked a little bit, but
Yeah,
so going back
we do that.
Going back to the neck area, it's real important to treat that area every day. And peptides are your friend for that neck area too. You got to get something that's going to really cause cell turnover and hydration in that neck area. And would be the thing, would be peptides.
Okay, very cool.
Now we're
Okay.
talking non-laser treatments and stuff. We're talking products. So
Right, products. And that was going to be my next question is, so although you at your studio, which I want to talk about in a minute because I think it's really cool what you've done with your studio, you don't do the laser treatments, or the injections, right? But at least we've never done it. But if a woman's coming to you and, they're talking about the things that you said you hear the most about, their neck or sun damage, what in general, I know everybody's different, but in general, is there newest to market type of laser or treatment they could do in conjunction with what you do that would help your skin? And what is that? Because you see them all. You go into your dermatologist, it's like boom, boom, boom. There's so many of them.
There's a lot of them. They don't all do the same thing, but I tell you what, it's kind of a twofold answer. I really believe in lasers. I do believe in that. The reason why this is my second part. The reason why I don't do them is because I believe you should find somebody that specializes in that sort of treatment. And there are people that are great at laser treatments. There are people that are good at facials, but I don't think you can do everything equally. So I kind of stick with what I do, and I work on the surface of your skin, cleansing your skin, anti-aging your skin. And I think that somebody more trained in lasers, and that's all they do, is going to know the facial structure more and the facial muscles and have a better idea of what you need on your skin. So that said, though, my two favorites, and I've done both of these, is the Halo and the Morpheus 8. I love both of those. They're
Okay,
really,
what do
really
they
good.
do and how are they different?
They are pretty similar, honestly. And what they do is they ablate the skin. So it's going to be hitting your skin with some heat. The Halo is a little bit cooler, and I'll explain that in a minute why that's important. But so when they are hitting the surface of your neck or anywhere on your face, that skin, they're ablating it, meaning they're causing damage to the skin that increases your cell turnover. Some people you'll see that lose a little bit of skin or peeling from it. But for the most part, it's going to be really red for a while, have some soreness. You are going to kind of get some scabbing and everything. But when all that process is over, all of that is causing cell turnover, basically.
Downtime, because I had never done those because of work and I didn't want to look like what you just described. Plus, I don't want to. Is it painful? Like, I don't want to.
Yes, it's painful. Well, you can actually start off with an IPL laser, which is intense pulse light. That's what that stands for, IPL lasers. And those are really I kind of call it the entry level laser. Those are actually pretty good because you can get that all over. I only stay red about 24 hours. And it looks like I have a light sunburn.
Oh, okay.
Nothing crazy.
Yeah.
Those are really good for just general things around your eyes for if you have just really kind of soft lines starting. That's a great place to start. And if you start there, you might not have to progress farther if you get on good skincare, clean your skin, and just do that periodically. I do those, and the only thing I don't like about the other lasers we were talking about
Yeah.
is heat. So anytime you have dark spots, it's aggravated by heat, especially melasma. Melasma is where you see like a huge swath of darkness on a lady. And usually women get it. And that's called melasma. And that's aggravated by sun and heat. So you really don't want to be putting a heated laser treatment on top of that. It's not going to help melasma, but it is going to help with tightening your skin. It's going to help with smoothing out your texture, fine lines, things like that, especially the lip area.
Okay. Well, what about women who get melasma during pregnancy and then it's gone? Are they more prone to it in a laser treatment for it coming back? Or
Yes, they are. The honest never really goes away. A lot of pregnant ladies do get it. It's called pregnancy melasma, or they'll call it the butterfly melasma. You'll hear that because it usually kind of is exactly the same on both sides. It kind of sort of mimics a butterfly here, and then it goes out again. That's why they call it that.
Okay.
But that does go away for a lot of people. Sometimes it takes a few years to go away, but it can. But yes, anytime they go out in the sun from then on or get a heated laser treatment, even a peel that's too deep for them, it can come back.
Okay. That's good to know. Okay. So the Halo and the Morpheus 8, you're fans of. And then if you're not melasma prone and it's a heat laser, right?
Yeah.
And then the peptides, hyaluronic acid, and retinols.
Correct.
Those are kind of you think those are core products that most women can count on and should be doing, right?
Yes, absolutely. And chemical peels. We didn't talk about that.
Well,
What we talked about is kind of what you want to do on a routine basis, but periodically, I like twice a year. Again, we're in Texas, so it's very hot here. We have a lot of sun. So I don't do chemical peels in the summertime. I don't even really offer them. I do an alternative, which we can talk about later, but because if you get a chemical peel, you really can't go out in the sun. You don't want to sweat. You can't have alcohol. So there's a lot of restrictions after a peel. So I do them in the fall and in the winter. And what they do is I just call it kind of rebooting your skin. It sort of peels off all the dead skin, different peels types do different things, but basically it's going to add a lot of hydration to your skin, peel off all the old dead skin, really kind of kick your skin into hyperdrive on that cell turnover bit that we're talking about. It really kind of kicks that up a little bit. And then one other thing, if you want to know, is microneedling, which we've talked about. Microneedling kind of does the same thing. It's mistakenly thinking, people mistakenly think that it tightens your skin, but it does not tighten your skin and it will not do that. It really smooths out your skin texture, really helps. See, what women tend to get a lot of lip lines around their lip area and things, fine lines. It really helps to smooth all of that out. It's really great for larger pores. Like I had acne and I had large pores for a long time. It really helps to smooth out those pores, make them look small again. Within that, you can add a lot of serums. You're putting in really specific serums that can help the skin. So if you have melasma, you can do microneedling and work in a hydroquinone product or something that's really good at the same time. And it's going really, really deep into the skin that it doesn't do just in general penetration of the topical product. That's a very common question.
Okay.
And a good question because everybody wants to know that. No, these can be, nothing's permanent. We'll say that because we're always aging. We're going to continue to age. So nothing is permanent, not the laser, not even facelifts are permanent because you're going to start aging immediately after you get the facelift. So that said, they're not temporary by the fact that if you continue to do them, you're going to continue to see the results. What happens with especially retinol, people don't see results right away because it takes a while for cell turnover. It takes about 28 days for that process to start. And then it could take up to 6 months for you to start to see the results, but they do work. But you'll notice the minute you quit doing some of these, you'll start to look older pretty quickly right away. That's when you realize they're working because it's keeping you from looking older as you get older. I hope that makes sense. So you don't necessarily see the results you're getting. And it's actually a good thing that you're not seeing the results because you're kind of just staying status quo on your skin. But when you stop using it, you start to age very quickly. Not quickly, but you'll start to see it.
I feel like it's a good analogy. If you stop going to the gym, your muscles will, start to atrophy.
Absolutely.
And then, 3 weeks later, you'll go back. Let's say if you take a month off or something, and then you go back and you're like, oh my gosh, this is so much harder because you're having to, rebuild. I mean, they're not all the way gone. All the work you've done isn't for naught. It's still working inside you. It's still there because it's a month. Right. If you were eventually stopped altogether, you would be back at square one.
Right. Exactly the same with your skin. I use that analogy a lot working out. If you work out your muscles, they get stronger and bigger and you start to look better. Your skin's exactly the same way. If you work out your skin by way of keeping it clean, using products, doing certain things throughout the year that you need to do, bigger time things like chemical peels, microneedling, and then hydration all the time. And sunscreen, that's working out your skin. You'll have better tone looking skin, smoother skin, but the minute you stop, it shows.
Okay. Yeah. So we're hooked on products then forever.
Oh, yeah.
Which,
You can't.
and there's no AI threat to you because AI can't go in and make us look fabulous in real life, only digitally. So
Exactly.
you've got good job security. Okay, back to your faith. Like, how does your faith play a role in your business and daily life? Because I know that's important to you.
Well, like I said earlier, I took the big leap. It was kind of just, I think a lot of people go through this. I don't know if it's the midlife crisis. I don't know what it is, but it happened in my mid 40s. I just started feeling like just nothing was fitting together. And I thought I literally did sit down and pray and think there's got to be an answer to this. And I just kept coming back to my sister and like saying, I got to call, her name was Francine. I said, I got to call Francine and I think she can help me. So I didn't call her before I made the decision, though. I just decided I'm going to take that leap of faith and just do it. So I called her. Like I said, literally the very next day, she was there, drove me back to San Antonio. And then I think I never really lost the faith from that point on. I think that was a turning point in my life. I realized, wow, if I sit here and pray and I talk about what I want, you hear it called different things in different cultures, putting it in the universe or manifesting. It's kind of all the same thing, depending on your beliefs. But I believe that's true. And so I started just making plans what I wanted to do long term and how I wanted to get there. And then to me, it's praying. That's what I do. And that's how I talk to myself, basically, in a kind of an odd way. I pray to myself, not to myself, but by myself. And it helps me to talk through things at the same time. And then I do feel like I get answered, maybe not right then, like there's no voice talking to me right then.
But in your spirit, sort of somewhere in here,
You can feel it. I don't know how to explain that feeling, but
feel it. And
yeah, and it's almost like a relief.
yeah.
You feel like a relief or release.
Peace.
Peace. That's a good way to put it. You start to feel that, and then all of a sudden it will start coming to you. And then I'm a believer. I learned this from my dad as a kid. But you also have to give thanks. And it's going to sound strange what I'm going to say, but I literally give thanks for lots of things. I read a book on karma a long, long time ago too, and it kind of shaped my beliefs a little bit. And you really have to give thanks for small things. So I give thanks a lot of times just for how my body's feeling. Wow, I feel so good today. Thank you, God, for making me feel good today. I didn't have any aches and pains. And I'm thankful for a lot of things, and I think that helps. And thanks for big things for sure.
Grateful for your blessings is huge.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Thanks is huge.
And I think if you're not grateful for them, they're not going to come as often,
Yeah. You have to, and some days you got to look for them, but they're always there.
And here's another thing. This is a little off track, but close. I also believe that you can pray all you want. You can call God up and pray and ask for what you want. And you're going to feel like sometimes you're not getting it, or you do get it, whatever the case is. But a lot of times you'll feel like, well, I'm not getting it. He's not answering my prayers. But the key is you have to put in the work too. You can't, as an 18-year-old, when you want to go to school, you can't pray and say, oh, I want to become a doctor. I just pray that I'm a doctor. Well, that's not going to happen. You have to put in the work too. And along with that, keep that faith. Like, I know you're putting me in the right path. So you need to pray for the right things. You need to say, look, I need guidance on where I need to be or how I need to get there. And that will come to you. You'll get that.
What is your will, right? And then what is your will? Let me know, but I really want this. But then, like you said, to me, faith is an action verb.
Yes.
You can't just sit on your couch and say, really want to meet the right girl or the right guy, and think that they will just walk through your door on a white horse with flowers, right? I mean, you put yourself out there. If you want a great job, you can't just think the CEO of Apple is going to walk in and go, you know what? I really want to hire you. You have to do the work, and God will meet you there if it is his will and part of his plan. And if it's not through prayer, like you were saying, I believe you will feel a shift, and maybe you'll feel called to go a different direction than what you originally thought, but you will you will be headed somewhere if you're open to really hearing him and knowing what his will is. But you gotta get up off the couch and out of the little ball of fear you may be in to do it, right?
Yeah, you have to give it the effort. And that's what I mean by the leap of faith. You got to get over that fear factor that's holding you back because there's really never a right time to do anything. Whatever it is, there's never a right time to tell somebody that you love them. There's never a right time to retire. There's never a right time. You've got to figure that time out. And that's the leap of faith. And
Love that.
pray about that. And then you make the right time and then everything else will fall into place. Just like my moving here. I made the time.
Yeah, you did.
Everything fell into place. Here's another example of that. Kind of goes back to what you just said. My goal was not ever to work on people's skin. When I first came back here, my goal, remember, was to start a cosmetic company in skincare.
Right.
That's what I wanted to do. And I got led into the other path of working on people. And that's really what I love to do. I mean, I love that more than anything, working on people's skin and getting to know people. And I made so many friends through what I do.
Oh, you
And
bless.
that was never my goal ever when I started. I had my goal and that still is my goal, but I had this other side path that came through and I really loved that. And that's when, that's divine intervention because I wasn't
Yes.
looking for that.
Right. No, but he has led you to do exactly what you just said. You do what you love
Right.
and you're serving others by that. And that brings you joy.
And I was open to it. You have to be open to it.
Yes, you do.
You can't just say, well, that's not what I want to do and move on. If something's leading you there, I think you have to try it or whatever. Be scared. Yeah, explore it. Don't be scared. Just do it and say, and if you don't like it, you don't like it. Hey, I didn't want to be an architect after 50 years.
Yeah, you can't be afraid to fail because I
No.
think the saddest thing would be when you're at the end to have a regret that you didn't try something that you
Right.
wanted to do and regret not trying it rather than, well, I tried that and it didn't work out, but it led me over here. Right. I mean, you've got to trust that it will all work out. But like you said, it's an action verb. You've got to do something.
You've got to you've got to do something. You got to put in the work and I promise it will happen. I can tell everybody that. And I don't promise people things a lot, but I promise if you pray about it and you follow that calling, whatever it may be, and you put in the work, it will happen. Like me, I thought I was really going to be broke forever because it cost a lot of money to start cosmetics. Believe me, it's not cheap. And I kept taking out of my 401k. I kept borrowing money from myself thinking, oh, I'm going to be really poor. And, but you know what? It started making money one day and it fell into place.
Making people happy and making you happy. It's like the greatest thing. I mean,
Yeah, I
love it. Okay. What is your guilty pleasure beauty product or service?
for me personally or for other people.
Both you personally and others. Yeah.
I don't get a lot of facials, I'm going to tell you, because you can't really give yourself a facial and lay down
that's
in there. And I'm not putting anybody else down, but I've never found anybody that gives a facial like I do that I want.
I
Just
haven't either.
I don't go get facials anywhere because I just don't experience that. So my luxury is a bath. I know it sounds strange for a guy to say that, but I love to just sit in a hot bath water. And I love not bubbles so much as that salt bath, Teals or something, you just sit in that and you feel so good, especially magnesium. By the way, magnesium is so good for your skin. And I sit in a magnesium bath a lot. And that is my guilty pleasure. And I sit in there. I will wash my face with a chemical peel and put this great mask on. And I sit in the bathtub for 30 minutes.
Oh my gosh, I love this. What kind of magnesium bath? Because I want to go get it now.
One of the greatest things you can go is, well, we have HEBs where we are, but a local grocery store. And you can get bags of magnesium salt, or you'll see it under where they sell like the foot scrubs and things like that. You'll see magnesium salts. Or Dr. Teal's is the one you'll see a lot. That's a great one. They have scents. They're great. They're scented really nicely. The scent is not going to bother you. Even if you have issues with scent, it's not going to bother you in the foot. It's different than putting it on your skin. But I just sit there in those and I pour the whole bag in, one whole bag. Don't be chintzy. You got to pour the whole bag in because it takes a lot of magnesium to penetrate your skin. But your skin will be so soft. It'll be like you almost had like a scrub all over your whole body.
Okay.
That's my pleasure.
Today. Okay. I didn't know I love that.
Do it and let me know how it is because I love those.
I'm going to do that. Okay. If you could only take 3 skincare products to a desert island, what would they be? For you, let's pretend we were going together and you could take 3 and you wanted me to pack 3 for me. Like we can't share them.
We can't share? Okay. You know where I was at it.
Let's pretend we're going to different islands. Okay.
Okay. For me, I would take a really hydrating face wash.
Okay.
And I say, do you want to know why or just?
Yeah, of course. You know I do.
Because I tend to get really oily and outside in nature, I tend to get really oily and things stick to sticky skin. And then I start breaking out. So skin cleansing is really important for me.
Okay.
The next thing I would probably take would be, if we're going to be on a desert island, I'd assume we're going to be in the sun. So I would take sunscreen,
Okay.
a lot of sunscreen. The third thing I would take, I don't know. It's hard. Probably peptides.
Okay. Peptides. And are those the same for me? Like,
No. We sort of can cross. I wish we could share, but if we can't, I know, right? If we can't for you, I would take something that is going to help you more for anti-aging. And again, that would probably be a peptide, but not the same form as I would take. People won't know what we're talking about, but you will know that creamy peptide that I put on you during the facial. Yes. I would take that because that, besides being a great moisturizer, it's also, remember I told you earlier, it keeps you from getting the sun's rays from penetrating deeply and it keeps you from getting sunburn. I would use that for you. I would use some sort of a body oil for you because I think that would help you to stay hydrated. You tend to run a little bit dry. I just know you personally. So you think this would be a little bit drier and I would do that for you. And the third thing would be probably another, I hate to say face wash because you told me not to do the same thing, but
you can. It's okay.
You have to get a good face wash. I really believe we got to stay clean. And you notice the things that I left out there were retinols and vitamin C's. And the reason for that is those are really highly active in the sun.
Yeah.
It would give you you need sun protection. You don't need something that's going to make the sun worse.
Right.
So that's why I left out active ingredients. So I guess the rule on that is if you're going to be out at the beach and stuff, kind of skip the active ingredients. You know, you don't want to have retinols and then be out in the sun because it's going to make that sunburn a lot worse and a lot quicker. So you notice I left
for both of us, right?
A big hat.
Okay. One thing I want to let everybody know too is that you are beloved by women all over Texas, not just in the San Antonio, Austin area, but throughout Texas. And if you could talk a little bit about that, because what I want the women in South Texas and Houston and Dallas to know that you're so beloved. People ask you to come and you will spend a couple of days, right, doing treatments on women. So can you talk a little bit about that so our listeners know that they don't have to just make a road trip to this area if they're not in this area? Or if they want your products, I want to talk about that too, how they can get them because they don't just come here. Okay.
How that got started is obviously I'm in San Antonio and I have a lot of great clients here. And then eventually some of the clients, one in particular, but it's happened more than once. Every time she would have friends come down from Dallas, she's from Dallas, she would treat them to a facial with me. And and then they started looking forward to it. Look, I'm coming down. Do you think I can get a facial with Will? Well, it's sort of just kept expanding with people. So I ended up having about 12 ladies. And then they asked me one time, well, could you come to Dallas and do facials one time? We would love it. And we would all come to you. And I'm like, sure. So I went up, I'm easy. Sure. I went to Dallas. I went to Dallas and I stayed in the guest house of one of the ladies. And it's a 2-bedroom. So I did facials in one room and stayed in the other. And I stayed for 3 days. We thought, I could give everybody in a 3-day weekend. Well, that's really tough. We expanded now. But back then I did it for 3 days and I did facials for 3 people a day. We would go out at night and have drinks and laugh and have fun. And they're all very faith-based people too, by the way. And I think that's kind of what pulled us all together. And then it just sort of expanded. They started inviting friends. So now I go for about a week at a time. And then similarly, that happened in Houston. I got some Houston ladies and they still drive into this day once a month to get facials. And
we need to set up a similar, type of process that you have in the Highland Park area with the women in Houston too, because so they're not have to make that drive, because I know I've got a lot of friends that want to meet you and are anxious for that. So I was hoping
they don't have to have a guest house. I can find a place. But I really enjoy that. I enjoy meeting new people for one, and I enjoy working individually with people. And I just enjoy I don't know, it's just I get out of town, so it's like a vacation for me, even though I'm working. And I think there's no pressure. It's not like I'm forcing them to come once a month or anything like that. Basically, it's going to be once a quarter or once every 2 to 3 months. And I think everybody enjoys it. Yeah, we got to set that up for Houston because
Yeah, we need to.
I'm going in September. I'm going to Cedar Park in Austin, close to Austin, and I'll be doing 12 ladies
Oh,
up
wow.
there. So it's a lot. So I'll be there for a whole week.
I may have to be your 13th, your baker's dozen.
It'll be my dessert.
I like that. And for all of y'all listening, I know now you can see why I love Will, why Will has a cult following. I mean, people love him because it's so genuine, Will, what you do. It's your love for people and your passion for skincare and your product line. It just shines through everything you do. And I just love watching how God has used you to use your gifts and step out and make others so happy. And if y'all want to purchase some of his products, to look at some of his products, you don't have to drive to San Antonio or Houston or Austin or Dallas. He has a website, which I'm going to give y'all now. It's BaileySkincare.com, and Bailey is E. He is also on Instagram, Bailey_skincare. And you can follow him to see where he's going, what he's doing, what's trending in skincare. But truly, his products are magical. He is very invested in research and putting in the ingredients that he knows are actually working, that smell great, that do what they say they're going to do. And he is able to be cost effective because he's not worried about this big fancy packaging that makes us spend, half of what we're spending on is packaging. He cares about us and our pocketbook and really contains costs that way. So this isn't some crazy bananas, French product that is a box this big with stuff in it this big, right? Amazing. And I used several this morning. One of them's my favorite is that Atomic 8. You put it on and then it tingles. Okay, guys, so you pump it out and it looks like a serum, right? Or like a lotion. And then you put it on your face and within seconds, it looks like you have like shaving cream or foam on your face.
It's like scrubbing bubbles.
Yes, it's like scrubbing bubbles and you feel it all tingly and you're like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. It feels like little tiny, I don't know, little things biting your face. And then I left it on 15 minutes. I didn't know, I forgot.
All right.
Okay. And then you take it off and it's like, oh my gosh, it's so smooth. It's like incredible. But
that's actually a little mini chemical peel, or a little mini facial that has a little bit of lactic acid, which brightens your skin and gives you a really nice glowy complexion. Your skin really glows after that. And you notice it feels probably really hydrated as well.
It does. It feels not as good as when I come see you, but pretty stinking close.
It's pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really good. Well, Will, I love you so much. I'm so grateful for you. And I'm excited to have you on a more regular basis because you learn things and he is so passionate about this. He's always on a quest to
I'm always learning
more. He doesn't want to just be, what's the word where you just are complacent, right? You're like, okay, I've got great products. I've got my following. We're great. I'm good. He really is passionate about continuing to learn what's coming out in skincare and to implement it into his product line and his services for all of us. So,
I love skin.
I know you do. And I love it too. And I love you. And we're just so thankful.
Can I put in a quick, not a plug, but it is a plug for my Instagram if you want to learn about skincare. I have already recorded 12 and we're going to upload them pretty quickly, but it's a series on aging skin, how to protect your skin, take care of it as we age. And so it kind of goes along with what you asked in the very beginning. It's from like age 40 above. And it really talks about ingredients you should use. Even if you don't use my products, it talks about ingredients that you should be using and what you should not be using and what you can and can't use together.
Yes.
From that.
Follow his Instagram.
Skin. WBailey_skin.
Not skincare. It's just skin. Okay. Well, I don't know why I have skincare. Okay. WBailey_skin. You have like 40,000 followers, right?
Yes.
It's amazing. So y'all, I mean, he's the best kept secret, but he's not, but he is because he's in Texas and we love him. But thank you, Will.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes. I'm so grateful for you guys. Thanks for sharing this fun, amazing hour. I know y'all are busily writing down everything to your phone, what he said, but again, you don't have to. You can reach out to him on direct message on Instagram or jump on his website, wbaileyskincare.com. And again, Insta is wbailey_skin.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
Could have been skincare. You're right.
no, could have been, but it's cool. _skin. Well, that's it for today. Thanks for tuning in, guys, and we will see you next time on the She Laughs podcast. Bye. Thanks so much for listening to She Laughs. If this episode encouraged you, would you share it with a friend who might need a little courage or a reminder that she's not alone? Every share helps more women find their inner cool girl and kick fear to the curb. You can find links to our guests, watch full episodes on YouTube, and connect with me on social at She Laughs Podcast Official, all in the show notes. And remember, the dream inside of you means something. Take the first step. Be brave. God's got your back. And girl, you've got this.